In the West Midlands, 58% of men and 61% of women have high cholesterol. That's according to the charity Heart UK.
And now experts are warning that those younger people could be particularly at risk because they don't think it's an issue that affects them, so have never been tested. David Wood reports.
From fatty foods to alcohol and sugary snacks, we are constantly being warned what we eat and drink could be affecting our health. High cholesterol, which can lead to heart disease, is one of the conditions that a bad diet can make worse. But many think it only affects older people.
Flying like a bird, Anna Williamson!
It's something presenter and recent Splash contestant Anna Williamson found out the hard way. At 32, she was not only diagnosed as having high cholesterol, but in fact inherited it from her parents.
If ever I was going to have, a healthy body, it's going to be now. So to take that test and actually discover that I do have high cholesterol was really quite shocking, and it just goes to show that it isn't just about what you eat. That's a huge part of it, obviously, and you can help yourself, but that it can actually be hereditary.
And scientists warn, like Anna, many adults aren't aware of the risks. New research shows that 62% of under 40s have never been tested for the condition, while it's thought almost the same number have a high cholesterol level. But as many as 1 in 500 people already have the condition, as it can be hereditary and not necessarily linked to lifestyle.
There's some people who have a genetic condition called familial hypercholesteremia, and that means, unfortunately, they tend to make quite high elevated levels of cholesterol, and this means they're much more at risk of heart disease than they would normally be.
As the obesity epidemic gets worse, doctors are encouraging more people to get tested for the condition and to make changes to their lifestyle, all to help keep levels under control and help prevent heart disease.
For most people, they convert too much saturated fat in their diet into cholesterol in their body. So the major component is what we eat in our diet. And if we can reduce the amount of saturated fat and increase the amount of natural fibre from things like oats, then we can make a difference.
With high cholesterol over time being a major cause of heart disease, doctors hope people will now take action. Otherwise, it could cost them their lives. David Wood, ITV News.
Prince William is in Coventry tomorrow on the very first of his duties in commemorating the 100th anniversary of the First World War. He'll launch a scheme to help protect hundreds of war memorial parks.
The Prince will tour one green space which opened in 1921 as a tribute to more than 2,000 Great War veterans who lost their lives. Keith Wilkinson reports.
The Coventry War Memorial Park, built in tribute to those who died in the First World War. A very special place with 400,000 visitors a year. And from tomorrow, when Prince William visits, it'll gain legal protection so it can remain forever here as a living memorial.
Well, tomorrow is the launch of our new programme, the Centenary Fields programme, which we are running in partnership with the Royal British Legion. And tomorrow we'll be welcoming our President, the Duke of Cambridge, to this fantastic space here in Coventry, the War Memorial Park, to designate it officially as the first Centenary Field.
Centenary Fields are part of a national plan to protect 500 places like this around Britain.
To formalise the status, there will be a legal deed of dedication which will be signed between the Fields of Trust and our legal team at the Coventry City Council. That then puts or gives us a status in perpetuity.
And it's about living remembrance, and so that children can come and play and learn and laugh, but also be able to honour that generation that passed in the First World War.
Many veterans are remembered here. One of the most celebrated is Arthur Hutt, who won a VC for leading an attack on a German trench, knocking out machine guns, taking 50 prisoners and rescuing 4 wounded men. Tomorrow, Prince William will meet his great-nephew.
I think it will put his name in the forefront of Coventry now. He's probably disappeared into the background over the past years, but I think this will now really bring Arthur to the forefront, which he so deserves, I think.
This beautiful space was born out of disaster. a disaster that came before the carnage that was the Coventry Blitz of the Second World War. That too is remembered here, as are some more recent conflicts. Keith Wilkinson, ITV News.
And here at Central News, we plan to mark 100 years since the outbreak of World War I with a special programme to commemorate the contribution of the men and women from the Midlands who served their country. We'd like your help to remember them.
Within weeks of the outbreak of the First World War, hundreds of thousands of men had volunteered to join the British Army, many driven by patriotism, others by the opportunity of work. By the time it had ended, 750,000 people from Britain and her empire had lost their lives. There were few families who weren't directly affected. The casualties, the carnage, the horrors of the trenches and warfare on an industrial scale all helped convince a generation that this would be the war to end wars. It wasn't. Britain would never be the same again. Across the Midlands, there will be events marking the centenary of the outbreak of the war. At ITV News Central, we'd like to honour the sacrifice of that generation. We'd like you to send us a photograph of a family member or loved one, someone who served with the forces or supported the war effort at home. You can email us at centralnews@itv.com or send a copy of the photograph, not an original, to ITV News Central, 22 Gas Street, Birmingham B1 2JT. And do tell us a little bit about them, where they were from and what happened to them. Yes, you've already started sending us those photographs. Thank you very much. And please continue to do so. We look forward to receiving them.
Indeed we do. Right, still ahead on the programme, from Britain's Got Talent to the big screen for Pudsey. But some sports news first of all, and the newly crowned Wimbledon tennis champion Jordan Wiley has told ITV News Central that she's excited to be back on court tomorrow at the British Open Wheelchair Tennis Championships.
Originally from Birmingham, she now spends around half the year outside the UK. A win at the US Open in September will mean a clean sweep of major titles in 2014. Michael Sibbett has been to meet her.
Jordan Wiley is back on court. Tomorrow she starts her quest to win the British Open Championships, one of the most important competitions outside the main Grand Slams. She's in great form after winning the Wimbledon doubles title less than 2 weeks ago. Now there's a chance for more success.
This has always been quite a big tournament for me personally as well, because the first time I was here was in 1994 and I was just 2 years old with my dad. It's nice to have it after Wimbledon and so close to Roland Garros, because I'm feeling that everyone's going to be peaking and I'm feeling confident.
Jordan and her doubles partner Yui Kamiji now hold 3 of the 4 majors. Despite her focus on this tournament, the main goal is the US Open in September. A win there would mean a clean sweep in 2014.
I'm not going to lie and say that, no, I'm not thinking about it, but I am, all the time. And, these kind of tournaments are really important, but they're also a sort of training for that as well, because I'm confident here and I feel like my game is really improving, but also I'll learn from here what I'm going to take into US Open. So that is always in the back of my head, because ultimately that is the short-term goal.
Her success has seen her profile rise. Everyone loves a British Wimbledon champion. For others in the sport, it's important to have a figurehead to drive the sport into the public consciousness.
It's really good. I've known Jordan all my life. We started off as juniors years and years ago, so I know how she acts and how she plays and everything. But yeah, she's played really well, and for her to be on the news and everything and to do all the interviews, it's great for the sport. It really is. So it gets the public's eye more.
We've had good successes at Wimbledon, especially Jordan Wiley. She's coming now here. The press know about her as well, which is really good.
At 22, the future's bright. The Paralympics is always on the horizon. Rio in 2016 is the ultimate aim. The London Games brought a bronze, but with all her recent success, who's to say she won't go 2 better in Brazil? Michael Sibbett, ITV News.